Okay, so I'm going to review another movie. Today's movie is called Cloud Atlas. Okay, Cloud Atlas is not a movie you want to watch if you want to turn your brain off. This movie is not for the usual moviegoers, which is exactly who would go in to watch this. It's not Transformers. It's not Hunger Games. You have to use your brain to actually get this movie. It's done by the Warskarshi, Warsaki, whatever. It's done by the two brothers who made the Matrix movies. So if Matrix confused you, wait till you watch this. So Cloud Atlas is a movie about different periods of time interwoven together. Your first period of time is in 1762, I think. I'm not sure, I don't remember what the year was, but it's on a ship. And okay, so Tom Hanks, who's in this film, does a great job. Tom Hanks is a great actor. Plays a doctor. And he is slow, and he's taking care of this guy who got this weird worm disease, who meets a slave and becomes his friend later. Okay, now these don't play like, Creepshow does, where it's one story after another. These go together. You will see parts of one story, and then a part of another, and then a part of another, but they all connect. Okay, so the next story is 1930s. It's about a gay couple, and one of them is going to go help write a new opera or music thing with one of the most popular music people in the world at the time. So that's it. So the next story, well, for now, the next story is the 1970s, where we get to see that one of the gay lovers has become a older adult. We meet Halle Berry's character in the 70s. She's now a reporter. And then we go into the future, to present time. And we get to meet a writer, and I swear to God, this is one of the coolest. He's a publisher. One of the coolest things you'll see in this movie. A guy who wrote a book for him. I think it was called Knucklehead or something. He walks over to the critic who told people not to read it, and he takes him and he throws him off the building. He comes piling down, and it's the coolest shit ever. It's in CG, but it's awesome. And you see him, he hits a car, and boom, and blood just everywhere. You would not expect to see that in that type of movie. That's why that's awesome. Okay. So, next thing is a futuristic world. This is going into the year 2115, I think. No. Okay, so in this futuristic world, you have these female servers, but they're all kind of like robots, but they're not. And they're in the future, obviously. So what it reminds me of is replicants from Blade Runner. So they keep going, and they're serving people. Now this is the future, so they're serving them like drinks and all this type of food and shit that just scans onto a plate. Really cool. So keeps going, and one of them ends up seeing one of the other robots fucking this guy, and the guy starts drinking soap for some reason, and he falls asleep because soap makes him sleepy. And then, so that one tries to run away. She gains her own mind from this old recording she'd seen that actually happens back in the writer's time, which is the present. This present, not their future. So, so it goes back to the past. We go back to the 30s, and we see this guy is helping write the music, okay? And he's writing it, and he's trying to write. And this old guy, he has no idea what to do. But he sees in his mind, he sees the diner in the future with all the women. And that's where he gets the idea for the music. So, then we go back to the ship. So, there's a ship going across the ocean, which has the sick guy on it, and the doctor, who is Tom Hanks, is taking care of him. Okay, so, when he meets the slave starts to help take care of him. The crew wants to kill the slave. The slave, can do seamanship shit, so they let him live. So, we go back to the future. Back to the future. Okay, so the next one, we go back to the 70s, where a secret assassin has now killed the gay lover that was in 1930s. Just turns that gun around and goes, wow, dead. Okay, so the assassin takes the file and he runs off. All secretive and shit, okay? So, and then we go into the future. Now, the future, it's kind of like the movie The Time Machine or Planet of the Apes. You know, when the apes took over and all the humans were gone and they were like, kind of like that, okay? The future. It's more futuristic than the future that was taking place at that time. Okay, so, and in this future, apparently people dress up and make up, they get all pissy and they start killing people. Well, Tom Hanks, who is now in the future, is like a barbarian with his barbarian family. But now in the future, you got the barbarians, you got the makeup wearing fuckers, and then you got the future people who kept the future technology from the future that went into the future. Okay, so after he goes, it's future. Sorry, I usually don't do it like this, but this movie's really cool. So, okay, because this movie is 3 hour long, so I can't possibly cover everything. So here, let me tell you how it ends. Okay, so it turns out that the dude who was sick on the ship, the doctor had been poisoning him to get it gold. The doctor who plays Tom Hanks, it turns into a good guy in the future, because in the future he was actually the dude who ate soap. So let me explain this movie in a nutshell. Heaven and death is an open book. What we do in our past lives equal out to the person we are going to be now. That is the 6 interwoven things that makes these characters the way they are. There is one complaint. I wanted to see the scene where Halle Berry's father was in the war and he'd be like, but we don't get to see that, which is fine. This movie is good. Is it great? Can be a little confusing. Not for the regular moviegoers. People who like shit like Twilight, Hunger Games, will not like this movie. If you like The Matrix, you like Eraserhead, you will love this movie. I definitely advise it. You should definitely go out and pick this movie up. On Black Friday, they had it for like $7. If you can find it, pick it up. Good movie. Peace.